down. So yeah, my name is Emily. So my husband and I moved to the Raleigh, North Carolina area in 2015 from Virginia. We're both born and raised there. So I went to school for business management and marketing at Liberty University. If anybody knows where that is, only a couple hours from here. What feels like forever ago, but I guess it was a while ago. But since then, I started out in marketing after college, working with a bunch of different churches and pastors around the US and helping them, that's notifying me, and helping them grow their following, create content for social media, because they were all pretty much writing books at the time. So that's how I kind of got started outside of my degree in marketing. And then after that, I worked for a PR company that was based in New York City, and they would take on random individuals with absolutely no Facebook or Instagram. And I would work on growing them a following so that when their books would come out, they would have a good following. People would care about, buying their books. So I've done a whole bunch of different things in marketing and done the sales side of it and been in it forever. So I'm excited to talk with you guys. I could literally talk about marketing all day long, but I won't keep you here past your promised time. And I move quickly. So like she said, I'm happy to take questions towards the end. And if you guys have questions outside of that, you can also have my contact information. I'm happy to answer stuff. So in 2017, my husband and I started a web design company. He also has a degree in marketing. He's more of a genius than I am. But while we were taking on website design clients, we started making funny YouTube videos when our kids would go to bed at night. And we really wanted to test that platform and find out, was it still a viable place to generate income and generate more of a following before we ever offered it to clients. So lo and behold, when we started making YouTube videos, we actually had a business in Georgia whose kids watched our videos. And so they reached out to us and said, hey, my kids love your videos. They're so fun. Can you make content for us? So that's kind of how our business was born. We took on videos then, websites, social media, all that sort of stuff. So I feel marketing is like, I'm sure a lot of people hate marketing, let's be honest. It's constantly changing and it's kind of a big black hole. It's different for every single business. So I'm sure those of you who own, everybody here owns businesses, but I'm sure so-and-so who tried something and that didn't work for you, or you tried something and it didn't work for somebody else. And it's constantly changing. Right when I feel like you get the hold of it, the algorithms change and then you have to start all over learning. So I'm here to answer all those questions. I have all my notes here. I'm also happy to share those if you guys want those. So our office is right here in downtown Knightdale. We have 12 employees. We travel the country making content for other businesses, everything from products, restaurants, construction companies, resorts, everything in between. We're all over the place. So we love that. And my favorite thing in the world is probably when that light bulb goes off and a client gets outside of their comfort zone and learns to have fun creating content for their business, or their first video goes viral. Those are my favorite things ever. So you can find some of our clients on Food Network. We work with Starbucks' main competitor, Black Rifle Coffee, all those sort of things, being interviewed by Yahoo News, all that stuff. So I'm happy to share all that. So what I want to talk about is kind of get into the nitty-gritty details of marketing, the meat of marketing, if you will. So like I mentioned, it's not a one size fits all. So what I don't want you guys to take away is so-and-so down the road, they do this for their business, so that must work for me. And why is it not working? Everybody is different. What you do and your strategy totally depends on who your target market is and what you do. If you're a service-based business, then you're a lot different than a product. If you're a product, vice versa. So we'll talk about all that sort of stuff. So in this day and age, it's constantly changing. Facebook, which now we know is Meta, changes their algorithms. It feels like every single day, basically. And for some reason, business owners are really still overlooking TikTok. So whatever platform you choose, I'll cover it, including how often to post, which one's the easiest for growth, and more. I know that's usually the most requested topic regarding social media. I know TikTok, nobody loves that anymore. So I'm also going to go over the two other main pillars of marketing aside from social media, which is your website and your videos. So it's a lot of information, so bear with me. At the end, I'll take time for questions, like I said, or find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's Emily Loves Business is my handle, or Heights Digital, either one. I'm happy to answer stuff. All right. So I want to start with your website. Websites are a beast. Hopefully every single business on here has a website. I really, really hope that that's true. If you don't have a website, that's like step one with like a logo and getting a branding sheet and a website and business cards. Those are all hand in hand. They go with each other. You have to have one nowadays. So first and foremost, if your website is not getting decent traction, and what I would call decent traction is easily 200 plus visitors per month. That's what I would consider, okay, that's decent traction. It might be time to run a report on your site and see how it's performing. So if you're not getting regular quotes, regular requests from your website and new clients from that, run a report on your site. So here's my favorite tool for websites. I love it so much, and every single business owner should know about it. So the website is, go to Neil Patel. It's a guy's name, Neil, Neil, Patel, Patel.com. Scroll all the way down to his footer. There's a section that says tools and SEO analyzer. Everybody, this is your homework for tonight, needs to go on there, type in your website, and you'll get a free full-blown report. None of this is affiliated with me. It's just my favorite little thing to always tell people. So type your website in there. He'll give you a super detailed report on how much traction you're getting every single month, which pages need edits, what has errors, what you're doing really well on your load time. All that sort of stuff is so important. So everybody needs to do that tonight. It's a free tool. It costs you nothing. It's fantastic. The next thing is that your website really should be on WordPress. And I know everybody has their feelings about WordPress, and I get it. So fair warning, WordPress is a beast. I'll be honest with you. It's a ton to learn. If you're willing to learn it, it's going to pay off big time. Or if you want to delegate that, that's great too. It's up to you. But your website really should be on WordPress. So as a business owner, because I'm one too, I get it. You really need to think about how many hours is it going to take you to build out a site or make edits to your site. Is this really worth it for you to do it yourself? Does it make more sense to hire someone and delegate it? So be thinking about that. If your website is on Wix, get it off right now. Just right now. I don't care if you pull up another tab, get it off Wix. Wix is just notorious for horrible SEO. You really don't even own the rights to your website. It's not customizable enough. And then aside from that, it's really not professional or credible enough. And I know some people will say, but my Wix site, I pay for it. It looks great. It does not matter to me. The SEO is horrific for Wix. So please get your site off of there. If you have a product, I would say it's acceptable to use Shopify. That's another platform, or Squarespace. I would not recommend Squarespace for SEO reasons. But if you have a product, I would say Shopify or WordPress are the best ones for you. WordPress is just simply the most customizable one. It's the strongest platform for SEO. Even CNN.com, Facebook.com, those are all WordPress sites. So if you're ready to play in the big leagues, you need to be on WordPress. As far as length goes, your site should be no less than 6 pages. So Google loves more content for them to crawl through. They love videos because Google owns YouTube, if you didn't know that. And they love longevity of websites. So forewarning, do not be discouraged if your brand new WordPress site doesn't perform super well on Google. That's very standard. It's super normal, and that's okay. It's not a reason to panic. It does take a little bit of time to rank on Google, and you will over time. And I'll give you the strategies on how to do that, really. We have 2 clients here locally that are direct competitors with each other, and they are literally 1 and 2 on Google. So I'll give you all those kind of strategies on how to do that. But SEO is not an instant fix. It's a long-term strategy, but everybody has to do it because you need people to find you online. So if you are in need of an SEO boost, here's some things that I really want you to do to your site. And these are things that are like long-term. They're not instant fixes because, like I said, SEO is not an immediate, okay, I made edits to my site, now I'm ranking really well. If you need an SEO boost, here's what I want you to do. Add a multitude of videos. That's very, very important. Add a bunch of videos. In fact, add a video page to your menu for your website and update those ongoing, regularly. They're recurring. A blog page, which I know everybody has their thoughts about blogs too. And bloggers are really, really outdated. but the fact is that blogs are so good for SEO because technically every new blog post is a new page to Google. So we literally will have blog posts like on our site, we have them from years ago. And that's very, very good for SEO. So add blogs. What I really love when business owners do this, because again, I know we don't have a whole bunch of time. What I love is when you will guest blog posts for other business owners and then add. So if you, let's say you and your best friend both own a business, I want you guys to both add blog posts to your websites. You're going to guest post for them and they're going to do it for you. And at the end of the blog post, you're going to put the link to each other's website. Those are called backlinks. The more backlinks you have, the better. So if you can guest blog posts for 50 people, fantastic. Go ahead and do that because the more backlinks you have, the better. Another thing that I think would be great for you to do is add, again, more volume, customer reviews. Those are huge. Do those on Google My Business. They're very important. Courses are great because that's a lot of content. It gives you recurring traffic to your website. So all of that is ongoing. For Google, because let's think about it, Google is a business, right? They want people to be coming back all the time. These things that are recurring, like video series, customer reviews, blog posts, courses, gets people back to their business, right? All the time. They're all searchable. Everything you title for a blog post is searchable. Your video on your website, the title is searchable, everything. So be thinking now, I want you to think through the lens of what would somebody type in Google to get to me? What would my customer type in Google? That's what I need to start creating content around. My blog posts need to be around what someone would put in Google, all of my video titles, everything. The last couple things for website is that add your social media links to your site. That's so standard and so basic. Everybody should have this. Please add your social media links. You can add the icons in your footer. What's really fun is if you have your Instagram feed populating on your website, that's really good. It gives people an idea of your personality and it adds to your SEO benefits as well. So if you're working on your website, what I think is great, and I see this occasionally on Facebook, is just have outside opinions look at it. Ask your friends and family, just say, hey, here's my site, it's in progress. Can you take a minute and just go through it? Because it's really nice to have an unbiased opinion. Find out if it's easy to navigate. Find out what they might have thought was confusing, if anything. Is it aesthetically pleasing? Does it keep their attention? Technically, you have 3 seconds, which is insane. You have 3 seconds nowadays to grab someone's attention. So be thinking through that lens. Every single piece on your website, is this, which is tricky, right? Is this attention getting? Does this get results? Will it help people find me? Just be thinking about that. So the next big pillar of marketing is video marketing. I love video marketing, and I cannot tell you how many times I hear people say, I hate being on videos. I get that every single day. And I'll give you some tips for that. I do think if you're unsure about being on videos, grab a friend. Like we have one real estate agent that we love, and she's great, but she hates being on video. So when we first started with her, we would put a GoPro up in her car, and she would grab someone in a complementary industry and just do car chats, just drive to Starbucks, sit in the drive-through, talk with someone who's a home stager. She did that, an electrician, a home inspector, all those sort of things. They're complementary industries to you. And then it takes a little bit of pressure off. You don't necessarily, and you probably shouldn't, depending on your industry, just sit in front of the camera and talk for half an hour. You know what I mean? It's not going to hold people's attention. So if you remember, speaking of blogs, about a decade ago, blogs were so huge. Everybody wanted to be a blogger and people were making money from that. And they made good money from doing it. But video marketing is now what blogging used to be. It's totally taken its place. So while blogs are still important for you to have your website, videos are what's going to bring the most amount of leads. Because here's the big kicker. There's a huge difference between brand awareness and lead generation. Totally different strategies, different results. They're not the same thing. And a lot of people get those confused. So the best way for video marketing to utilize your videos is to come up with ongoing things that are searchable. Searchable is my keyword there. Everything you're doing now is searchable. and then collaborate, like I said, with other complementary industries and post that content to your social media platforms. And then grab things that are trending. This is where people miss the mark all the time on social media. They don't grab things that are trending and searchable. That is literally how we built all of our YouTube following, all of our following on every single platform, and how we learned to generate revenue from all of our social media platforms was because we grabbed things that were trending and searchable. That's so important. If you thought that YouTube, for example, wasn't for you, or if it's too late, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Same thing with TikTok. I think people just kind of overthink that. And it's a new platform. And I get it. When you're a business owner, you're like, okay, I only have so much time. It's really hard to master every single platform. I completely get that. And not every single platform is going to be for you. So not a lot of people, I'm guessing, on here would be great for Twitter. It's a super specific niche. Same thing with Facebook, same thing with Instagram. So we'll go through those and talk about those platforms too. So back to YouTube. So when we started on YouTube, we made things that were searchable and trending. YouTube is simply a search engine. Google owns YouTube. I think everybody knows that by now. So all you're thinking about is what people would type in Google is exactly what they're typing in YouTube. It's the second highest search engine in the world. So that's how you're going to title your content. That's how, when you're thinking every month, because I want people to get in the habit of every month thinking about, okay, what holidays are coming up? What content are we creating this month? If you're doing yourself, if you don't have a marketing company like us or someone doing it for you, and you're thinking through, what can we make as a team this month? I want you to think about, okay, what are people talking about on the news? What's trending? Go to YouTube, open up a private page. That way it doesn't know your search history, and hit what's trending and just find out. And then look for people in your industry that are doing it really well. There's nothing wrong with that. Find people that are doing it really, really well, and people you admire and look up to, and create content based off of that. So the longer, when it comes to YouTube, the longer your description, the better. So other social media platforms like it a little bit shorter. YouTube, the more you can repeat yourself and you'll feel dumb doing it, the better it is. That's actually a really, really good thing. Because Google's going to crawl through all of this, all of your description. So think about exactly what you're saying to a potential customer. When you're starting out, as far as length goes, make videos that are under 5 minutes. Please don't sit there for 30 minutes and no one, you've lost me. I'm not watching your video for 30 minutes. Please, people are lazy. Let's just call it what it is. People are lazy and they don't want to watch a 30, 60, 90-minute long podcast Zoom call. They just don't. So keep it under 5 minutes when you're first starting out. Once you hit 1,000 subscribers, that's when you start to make money, and videos over 10 minutes at that point have double the ad revenue. So if you have over 1,000 subscribers right now, that's awesome. You can now generate income from your YouTube channel. Sometimes you'll see on YouTube, once you get on there, there's a video that's like 10 minutes and 3 seconds. Well, that's just greedy. That's literally just someone, because they're over a 10-minute mark and now they have double the ad revenue. So go for it, have at it. But right now, just start with things that are under 5 minutes, that are easily digestible for people. So your website should have your videos, and your social media platforms should have videos as well, regularly. I don't care if you needed to make it a regular, Friday feature thing, and you grab a business that's complimentary, do that. Whatever you need to do to make it easily feasible for you and scalable. That's important, because I think a lot of the times as a business owner, you can take on so many things, and we all take on so many things. Just do what's feasible for you, grab other people and have some fun with it. I think people overthink their videos. So I want everybody to stop doing that. If you're thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to learn how to do editing? That's where people like us come in. If you don't want to learn it, there's an option for that. Generally, what we do is we see clients once a month. We'll spend 2 hours with them and we'll get 30 days worth of content, if not more than that, 30 to 45 days worth of content into 2 hours. So you don't have to lift a finger. We do the SEO, we do the posting, filming and editing, coming up with the ideas, all that sort of stuff. But if you're doing it yourself, make content around what is beneficial for you. So one of our clients is a plastic surgeon in Cary, and he said I answer the same things all the time, which is very normal for his industry. So we started making video series off of all the questions he would answer. So now on his website, when someone's planning to get a surgery with him, they will log on to his site and they'll see all of his videos there. I think we literally did 80 to 100-ish. They're all on there specific to what type of surgery they're getting. So he's thrilled because it saves him time. He's not answering all the same questions. And his people are educated, his patients, before they even come to him, because they've listened directly from him and they've been educated by him already. So when they come in, he says, now I don't have to answer the same questions. I can sit down with them and they're already educated. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the good part and pass the basic standard things. So think about what takes something off your plate. What are some frequently asked questions that you get all the time? Show us how you make your product. If you're a product-based company, show me how you make it. And you don't have to give away all your secrets, but have some fun with it. Put on some trending songs on TikTok, for example. Let's just use that one. Put on a trending song, do some fun editing, like have some fun with it and stop overthinking it. Show people. So I'm thinking of Rashad because I saw him today. So he has a barbecue sauce, which is amazing. So I'm thinking about him. You could show me what are some ways I can use that sauce. How can I cook with it? What pairs really well with it? What wine goes well with my meal? What dessert goes really well? All those things are really fun. And then show fun shots of people loving it, them reviewing it, all those sort of things. Educate people and keep them entertained. Content usually falls under two buckets. One is educational and one is entertaining. When you can mix the two, that's where the sweet spot hits for people. Do the trending things that are fun, but give me some information. So if you take some time and scroll through TikTok, for example, you'll see a lot of people who are doing industry professionals, they're business owners. They'll do a trending dance, for example. If dancing is your thing, great. It's not my thing. If it is, do a trending dance with a trending sound that people are doing, but then add education over it. Give people tips for whatever your industry is, how to raise their credit score, how to blow up on Instagram, whatever the case may be. Add some education to it, because now you've gotten the searchability. You've grabbed the trend. That is going to blow up. That's how you get a following quickly. Implement all of those things. And have some fun with it. Like, don't overthink it, because that's the main thing I hear. When you can cross educational and entertaining is really where your focus is. All right. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. And also I had a cold all last week and my whole family had COVID. So if I'm a little scratchy, I apologize. So last but not least, social media. Gotta love it, gotta hate it. Social media is the big black hole of marketing that everybody wants to figure out. Making content is very much like throwing spaghetti noodles against a wall and seeing what the heck sticks. And some days it makes sense. And then some days it doesn't make sense at all. And then some days the pieces that you put so much work into do terribly. And then the ones you put no effort into do really, really well. So I get it. And it's annoying. Usually the ones that you do put less effort into are more relatable and do well. So let's talk about platforms, because that's, I think, one of the main things that people ask me about. I get a lot of questions about hashtags, platforms, all that. So what platform that you really pour the most into and works best for you really depends on your business and your personality and who you are as a company. So if you have a really fun personality, great. Let's run with Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Maybe let's not run as much with Facebook. If you're like, I really love educational things, let's put that on YouTube. Let's put it on Spotify. Let's put that on Facebook. So it's different. You could take the same piece of content and repurpose it to different platforms. So I love doing this. So let's say you film a 5-minute video and you've gotten a topic that's trending and searchable. Chop that video and put it on Reels, put it on TikTok, add a different sound, put the longer version on YouTube, take the audio, put it on Spotify, put the longer version on Facebook, add a longer caption. So there's ways to repurpose it. So don't feel like if you filmed a 5-minute long video, I need to do another shorter version for this, and then stop redoing it. I get that all the time. People say, I filmed this video 10 times and then I didn't like it. And then I never posted it. my general rule of thumb, and I tell people this all the time, you have 2 chances to film it. I don't care what your second chance looks like, you're going to post it. Because quite honestly, it's like relatable. Consumers are now becoming so like immune or just so annoyed by content that's so overly done. Everything is an ad. Everyone's trying to sell something. Everybody's just talking. And now the stats are showing that people are actually really starting to ignore the ads because they're getting trained by them. So film a video 2 times. If it's not perfect, that's okay. People like that and it's more relatable, and just put it on there. As a business, you should have a platform or a presence on every platform, every single one, except my exception is Twitter. And I'll explain to you why I think that. Unless you already have hundreds of thousands of followers, you really don't need to be on Twitter. If you're branding yourself as an individual, then you can be on Twitter. And it's acceptable. But if you're thinking for your business, you really don't need to be on there. The Instagram is very, very difficult to grow for a business. Facebook business pages are difficult to grow. Twitter is really for an individual. And honestly, depending on what you even want to talk about, if you want to talk about certain things, sports, go for Twitter, and you want to just brand yourself. But as a business right now, I'm going to stick to business stuff. I really don't think there's anybody on here that needs to do Twitter unless you have, 400,000 followers right now. And you're like, okay, honestly, the truth is if you have 400,000 followers, you probably already know a lot of stuff anyways. So Facebook, let's start with Facebook. It likes longer videos, longer captions, way less hashtags. Really, you could do a few hashtags on Facebook and get away with that. More educational content, and it's great for networking. So you can get away with your longer video on Facebook. That's super fine, very normal. You can do longer educational captions. Facebook is not hashtag heavy at all, so you really don't need to do that. Obviously, on every platform, it's important to utilize the resources that they give you. So I'm talking polls, questions, location. That stuff is so important. That's very, very basic. On Instagram, add a location to every single post. On Facebook, add a location to every single post. There's a reason why they give that to you. It's all for SEO benefits. The algorithm will literally, if you add a location, show it to people who are in a certain radius to you. It happens all the time. Scroll through Instagram and you'll see something that says Nightdale, for example, because I'm in Nightdale. That's very normal. So make sure you use those really basic things. You want people to interact. So ask them polls, ask them questions, have them vote on things, keep it fun. Instagram has moved to shopping and videos. They literally announced that. Their CEO literally announced, we would like to be a shopping platform. So if you have a product, that's great news for you. You can go ahead and hop on Instagram and make that content really fun. They also are trying, hopefully everybody knows this, Instagram has created Reels. Hopefully you're not living under a rock and you've been on Reels. They're trying really hard to compete with TikTok, and YouTube is also trying really hard to compete as well. So they now have YouTube Shorts, which is great. Literally the exact same things. Shorts, Reels, and TikTok are the same thing. So make sure you put your content on all 3 of those. They are crazy easy right now to grow on, especially Reels and Shorts. TikTok, everyone should be on it, but I'm warning you, it really is becoming a lot more, there are a lot more industry professionals. So if you're going to get on it, you really need to do it very quickly. It's almost going to become a little saturated here shortly, like Facebook and Instagram did. So utilize Reels right now. That's super important. If you have a product, Instagram is your jam. If I say there's a certain business that's great for a certain platform, again, you still have to be on all of them. You really do. It establishes credibility for your consumers, and different customers like to consume content in different ways. So for us, we have we have better followings on other platforms, and they do different things. We have some clients who will look at our Instagram. We have some clients who love Facebook, and then we have a lot of people who want to work for us from TikTok. It totally depends on your industry, but you should be on every single one of them. YouTube is across the board the largest social media platform. Still is. Even more than Facebook. I'm not sure why people are still sleeping on YouTube. I don't get it. Or people think that like, oh, it was very 2008. It's, I'm past that. That is so false. It's still the second largest search engine aside from Google, and it's still the #1 social media platform. And honestly, the money on YouTube is insane compared to on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, other platforms. It's nuts. A lot of friends of my husband and I, like one friend, for example, he makes a few $100,000 a month on YouTube. I'm not kidding you. But that same following on TikTok makes a few thousand. Same platform, same following. I'm sorry, different platform, but same audience, same following, totally different ball games for income. So don't sleep on YouTube. It's still so worth it. And YouTube's good for longer videos. You don't have to be super heavy with editing. If you don't have a company doing it, don't worry about that. Everything is super forgivable in the beginning. So if you're paralyzed by, oh gosh, I have to make everything look perfect before I do anything, that's super false. I really don't want, because then you're going to get stuck and you're going to end up not posting anything at all. Don't overthink it. Just throw it on there. It's so forgivable. Now, when you have 1 million followers, all right, you know what? It's not quite as forgivable because you do one thing wrong and everyone's going to tell you this looks like trash. So it changes as your following grows with you. But for YouTube, do a mix between educational content as well as off the wall fun stuff. And remember, everything is searchable. That's the golden rule. TikTok is great for super short bursts of content. And the trick is to obviously do trending songs, dances. If you can move like that, great, have at it, and sounds. The reason for all of that is because I love to push, you have to do these trending things, and there's a reason for it. So when a song, for example, has thousands of views and it's starting to trend up, that's when you grab it. That's when you grab the following. That's when it's got the most searchability. Now, once that song, for example, and this rule is for hashtags too, once it hits about 1 million views, oh, you've lost it because now you're just going to drown in it. So you really want to find things that are like, I love the sounds that are like maybe 5,000 to 10,000. And then I'm going to grab that sound and then you're going to get great views. But once a sound has hit 1 million and it's all over my feed, I'm already drowning. So there's not really a real point for me to do it. So instead of millions of views, in which case it hits its peak, make sure you find one that has a good sweet spot that's trending upwards. So whatever platform you choose to pour the most into, I get a lot of questions about hashtags. I think business owners are like really stuck in 10 years ago. This is probably, hashtags are really 5 to 8-ish years ago, realistically. On Instagram, the max amount of hashtags is 30, but please do not do 30. You really should do 7 to 10 hashtags. Anything after that, you're confusing the algorithm. So I would say max do 15, but really 7 to 10 hashtags is better. And that's for Instagram. Facebook, you could literally do 5. It's not hashtag heavy at all. And quite honestly, there's not a lot of result. You're not going to get great results from hashtags anymore. People really rely heavily on those for some reason, but they don't work really anymore. It's still worth it to do it. There's still a good few of us that follow hashtags, but depending on who your target market is, not many people do. They're not going to give you much growth. Again, if the hashtag has under 500,000 uses, then you could use that one. If it has any more than 500,000, you're drowning. Don't even bother. You're just a drop in the ocean. So stop relying on hashtags. What's more important is a consistent, steady flow of content. So the next thing I really want to point out is it's way more beneficial for you guys to do less content, but consistently, regularly, than a ton of content thrown out at once, and then you disappear for months. It's so much better because, again, all these platforms are just businesses. They want recurring people. They don't necessarily care about the volume. They just want to know, we have this many people visit our app every single day. Not this is how much, here's the difference. This is how much content went out on our app. When they're pitching to investors, when they're people are buying into their companies, they're talking about how many recurring people they have to their platform. Not 3 billion people posted photos today. That's very different. So just make sure you are consistent, and slow and steady is fine. It took us a good year, I'd say a good 10 to 12 months of posting a video every single day on YouTube before we generated income. So like, let's be realistic about it. A lot of people get on Instagram and after 6 weeks or even 3 months, they're like, I don't have thousands of followers. That's not how it works. Unless for 3 months, you're putting up 2 to 3 pieces per day, you're collaborating every single week, probably twice a week with other people, you're not going to hit what you want to hit in 3 months. It's a long-term marathon. Because how many people would be influencers if it took 3 months? That doesn't happen. And also, businesses are a lot harder to grow on social media than individuals. It's just the truth. So just make sure you do regular ongoing content instead of little bursts of stuff and then disappearing. So if you don't delegate that to a marketing company like us, then I always recommend that the last week of every month, use that planning out your content. Take your photos, make your videos, and then schedule it all out so it's posting daily. And you're not sitting there wondering every day, oh gosh, I need to post to Facebook and Instagram. What am I going to post? Just spend the last week of every month and think through, here's what's coming up next month. Here's what sales I have. Here's what holidays I can grab. Any of that sort of stuff, and plan out what you want your content to look like and then schedule it all out. The biggest way to grow online is collaboration. So kiss your hashtags goodbye. It's not it. It's entirely up to searchability and collaboration. I think about all of the people I know that have millions and millions of followers. And some of them are clients of ours and good friends. And they say the number one thing they did to get there was searchability, trending things, and collaborating. Everybody knows that you have to collaborate with people. Just find people in complementary industries. It doesn't necessarily have to be an influencer with thousands of followers. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Although influencers are a big thing that everyone thinks nowadays. Really want an influencer. When my husband and I went on vacation, this was last year, we met someone who was an executive at Microsoft, and she said now 80% of Microsoft's marketing budget goes to influencers, which I thought that's insane because Microsoft is massive, right? 80% of their budget is going to influencers now. The thing with having an influencer, and I know this because I've partnered with a lot of businesses who do this with my content personally. The thing with having an influencer is people think, oh, I'm going to give them a product and then they're going to post it and I'm going to get hundreds of followers. No. It's an ongoing relationship. Make them post twice. Let's say twice a month. Start with twice, right? They're talking about the product that they actually love. They're really building a relationship with you. Because like I said earlier, people have become so just accustomed to ads constantly. They want to know now what's authentic. So people are tuning out the ads. So as soon as they see hashtag ad with an influencer, they're getting annoyed by it. So build relationships with people who have a good following, and have them promote it regularly and in a genuine way, not please go buy this. It's not genuine. People are going to tune it out. And then you're just really wasting products, services, or whatever. It is a good write-off. Hi, Rashad. You know where to find me anyways. All right. So with social media, a couple other things I will say about this. When you collaborate, I mentioned this a few times, complementary industries, get in the habit of every time you're with a friend who has a business, just take a photo with them. It's so simple. Just tag them. Jennifer, I think you're really good about this. Tag them, have them tag you, and then you share in each other's following. Now you have more eyes on your content. And it's likely people that are already going to like what you post because they were a complementary industry. That gives you double sets of eyes and it's beneficial to both of you. So every single influencer, all the collabs that they do, whether you realize it or not, it's all a strategy. So get in the habit of taking photos everywhere you go. If you get your breakfast at a little local place, tag them. They're going to repost it. A lot of the clients that we do social media for here, like, so I don't know if you guys know Prime Barbecue in Nightdale. He's on the Food Network. He's a client of ours and we do all his marketing. Every single time someone tags photos, Prime Barbecue in it, we repost it every single time. And if we don't do it, he reposts it every single time. And he's got about 23,000 followers now on Instagram, which is great. And a lot of brand deals and a lot of that stuff, but it's super easy. Make something fun with a restaurant that you go to and they'll repost it. Um, all right. If you don't start now, here's the truth. If you don't start now, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road, you're going to really wish that you did. Think about the first people that were on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. They all have millions and millions of followers. YouTube, they're killing it. And you're going to really wish that you were one of the ones who had started then. The second major pillar, here's another big one that people get frustrated by. It's hot or cold. People either have a great experience with Facebook ads or they have a horrible experience with it. And Facebook ads totally depend on your industry. If you're in insurance, don't bother with Facebook ads. It's not going to do anything for you. If you're a realtor, they're very, very tricky to do with you too. If you're a product, they're great. Other services, hair salons, they're great for that. Construction, roofing, great for that. So it kind of depends on what your industry is. But I do believe that if you have disposable income, you want a good write-off, I say run ads. Start at $10 a day. It's $300 a month. Just try that. But here's the kicker. I'm not referring to the boosted button. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, touch that blue button. It's a total waste of money for you. It's going to get you nothing. All the boosted button does is show your current audience more of you. It doesn't give you new people. It just shows the people who already follow and like your page, you. So don't use the boosted button. It's a total waste of money. For ads, make sure that you're going to business.facebook.com. I'm not sure if anyone's been on that. Hold on. Business.facebook.com is very different than facebook.com and going to your business page. Excuse me, those are very different. When you're on business.facebook.com, you can target income. It's creepy what you can target. Let's say that it's creepy. You can do income level, home ownership, interests, locations, a lot more. So people, go to Ad Center on their Facebook business page, and that's not the same thing. So set up a business.facebook.com account. But ads are really what differentiates brand awareness than lead generation. So play around with it. Start at $10 a day. Set it for a week. If you don't have someone like us do it, but it's all about the way that it's crafted. So that's very, very important. So some people have great experiences with ads and then others hate it, but I think across the board, everybody should just start with it. So really ultimately as business owners, here's the last thing I want to kind of touch on. You really have to make choices about how valuable your time is, where you're going to delegate. I get it. Your business is your baby. I've been there, still currently am there. But if for me personally, I'm undervaluing myself and I'm doing my business ultimately a huge disservice if I keep taking everything on. Sometimes it really is time to just bring in a professional company if it means your sanity, because that's really important, and more time with your customers, building out your products, solidifying your services, making sales. I think business owners, as far as marketing goes, they usually get stuck in two different categories. One is they just don't have the time to take it all on. So you got to be strategic in where your money, your resources, and your effort is really going, especially when it comes to marketing. And especially at the stage that your business is in. If you need customers right this second, your strategy might be a little bit different than a company that's super well established and has been around for many years, and they're doing great, and they just know that they need to catch up to the times and get on social media platforms. So I get that. If you don't have all the time, I get it. Just delegate, delegate, delegate. You're going to feel a weight off your back. Honestly, you can delegate to a marketing company like me, or find, sometimes I hear people, I just heard this the other day, a construction company whose daughter was studying marketing. Great. Give her a budget, have her intern maybe somewhere, learn something. But then either way, it gets something off your plate. So I think that's really important for people. The second category I think business owners really fall in is that they just don't know where to start, which is very, very normal. It's constantly changing. And unless you've studied marketing for a long time, it's really difficult to do for certain industries too. It can be overwhelming, and it can feel like it's an uphill battle. So I get that. I'm always, always happy. I think about marketing all the time and I love it. So even if you send me a message on Instagram and you want to brainstorm. I have a lot of friends who do that all the time. I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me. But regardless of how you feel about it, every single business has to establish their brand online. I mean, think about social media. How much bigger has it gotten in the last 5, 10, 15 years? It's only going to get crazier. So if you don't do it, someone else, AKA your competitor, they will do it. There will be someone else who will do it. So you have to get on it or you're going to fall behind. It's just the truth. And when you're on social media and it's doing really well, it establishes credibility with your customers. It really does. It helps with PR, helps with customer service. I mean, how many times have you heard of big companies that are like, oh, Wendy's, for example, or they'll tweet people all the time. It establishes a relationship with customers. I have multiple times, I have a throwaway Twitter. I don't do anything on. It's literally for customer service. There's a lot of companies that are bigger and their version of customer service is just Twitter. You just DM them. One time I had a horrible experience with American Airlines and my husband tweeted them right away. They fixed it. They credit us back for a flight. And that was just through Twitter. So there's a lot of benefits, obviously, to doing it. Once I would say really realistically, because I don't like when I know when marketing companies promise the world, I'm a realist. Okay. Realistically, it will probably take you a year before you're doing great. You're trending up. You're getting tons of views. Now it depends on the platform. But it'll take a year, especially before you generate income. But after that year, your marketing really should totally pay for itself. Now, if you're doing Facebook ads and you're in a great industry for Facebook ads, it'll pay for itself the very first month for marketing. But if you want passive income like YouTube, for example, a year and it will pay for itself realistically when it's done the right way. So I know that's a lot of information. I'm happy to answer questions. And again, you can always email me or find me online and I'm happy to answer stuff there. So let me see. Should I pull up the chat here, Jennifer?
Yeah, no, Emily, this was wonderful. I think I've learned a lot. So thank you.
Yeah.
One question that came up is when you were talking about going on YouTube and doing some search to find out about things that are trending, you mentioned opening a private page. Why do you recommend opening a private page?
Because social media is really creepy and they track every word we say and our phones and they literally track where your eyes look at it on an Instagram post for a certain amount of time. They track everything. So if you open up a private tab, it has not learned anything about you. I also really, this is sort of aside from that, but I also really like to use duckduckgo.com. I think a lot of people know that, but it's basically a search engine like Google, but they don't track your stuff. So a private tab, they just can't track because then they'll filter results on what you're getting, what's trending based off what they think you're going to like. So mine might be very different than what actually is really trending. They just thought I might like that better.
Now, another question for you. Oh, yeah, totally. Next, I think on music, you mentioned, downloading from TikTok, putting it on other sites, or kind of cross-promoting videos that way with music. How do you recommend doing that with copyrighted music for business use in videos?
Oh, that's super annoying. So we've switched everything to personal. It's not business. So our TikTok account for our business is not actually a business one, because they don't let you use all the sounds and copyright stuff. It's really obnoxious because they think you're going to use it for a commercial use and you need to pay for it. So if you're on TikTok, I'd say don't even worry about making a business account, make it a professional or a personal one, but just put your business name. Like it'll literally look like a business account. The analytics will be slightly different, but when you're starting out, it doesn't matter. When you hit 1 million, all right, then you want some more analytics there on TikTok. Same thing for Instagram. Ours is technically not a business one. It's a personal one for the exact same reason. I also do that because I don't like the business accounts because they really want you to pay for ads. So they totally, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they're all guilty of it. They limit how far a business can reach because they think you've got the money for ads. So I would say don't even make it a business account, just make it personal. Then you get around all the music stuff.
I think that might have been most of the questions. everyone else, do you have any questions that came into mind? Or actually, I had a couple others. Before I everyone else think of what other questions you have that we haven't answered yet. You mentioned doing tools for editing social media, like edit some videos really quick to throw them up there, whether it be on different platforms. What are some of your favorite tools to use for editing videos?
I mean, depends on what kind of computer you have. If you have an Apple and you like that, just start out with iMovie. I mean, start out with that. That's totally fine. If you're a little bit more experienced, do Premiere Pro. That's great too. And I forgot to mention this when you mentioned apps too. If you want to start out on TikTok, try Trend Talk. That's a good app that will tell you about things that are about to come up, that are about to trend. And then you can jump on those trends. But depends on what, I mean, literally my 9-year-old daughter, she has more YouTube subscribers than a lot of businesses I know. And she does free little video toolbox apps. And she and my 7-year-old will edit all day long. And it's really cute and it's very basic. There's plenty of free ones. Just do what's really user-friendly for you.
Another one you mentioned was putting stuff on Spotify. Like, are you mentioning taking like, for example, if we were to take the audio from this video today and put it on there as like a podcast type series, is that what you're referring to, or what were you referring to when you talked about? Okay.
Yep. So Spotify, yeah, is just audio. So I think it's literally maybe $13 a month. You can get different tiers on how many you want to upload. It's super cheap to do, but it's just for audio. But yeah, you start filtering that content on there, and then the more volume you have recurring, the better it will be. But Spotify is difficult, and that will take a good year. And that one's really good if you have a specific niche, a really good niche.
Perfect. All right. Anyone else? Any questions that you've got burning in your mind or outstanding that you're thinking of?
I think everybody always thinks of questions after the fact too. I'm really guilty of that.
Absolutely. Well, I put some information in here earlier. I tagged Emily's businesses. I put Emily Loves Business, the links in the chat, the Heights Digital, and then we also put Neil Patel's link. That was awesome. Thank you. What we'll do is this video will be archived. It'll be available on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube. We'll embed it on our website, the link to that, following all of Emily's tips here today on how to try and help grow SEO. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate, reach out to Emily direct or reach out to us and we'll connect you to Emily. And hopefully this was very helpful. And we look forward to doing this once a month ongoing for different tips and tricks to try and help you and your business and make you successful. And Emily, we're grateful to you today. This was excellent information. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule and sharing with us some of your expert tips. And again, if you need help or professional, please don't, hesitate to reach out to Emily and her company as well if you need more. Before we go, though, it looks like we do have a question that popped up, and it's how much time should one spend on deep dive Facebook techniques like setting up a minimum ROA and customizing ad copy with optimized text per person?
As much time as you really have and you're willing to give it. I mean, for me personally, as a business owner, I give myself a certain amount of time. I'll say, 5 hours and spread that out is what I'm going to spend on it. And then after that, it's no longer worth my time. I love to break it down to like, what would I charge somebody per hour? And then how many hours is it taking me? What am I missing out on? And what could I have done in that time? Facebook's all of this really, all these social media platforms are like never ending holes. I'd say like you can learn anything on YouTube, watch YouTube videos on Facebook, find other people in your industry that are experts at what they do and get a hang of that, educate yourself with that. But I would say really don't spend any more than 5 to maybe 10 hours on this. Depends on how much time you have. If you've, like for me, we have 12 employees. I don't have the time all the time to do things. So I'll do it on the weekends or in the evenings or whatever. But at some point you do have to cut it off and then think about what you're really good at, what you enjoy. If you really love Facebook and you actually really enjoy learning about ad copy and all of that and ROI, how to get the best ROI, and great, spend more time on it. If you're like, oh, I hate it, but I know I have to do it, then spend less time. Everybody's different.
Emily, speaking on that, one thing we didn't touch on was Facebook Pixel. Do you obviously recommend that all of your clients have Pixel and installed? And then how much time should they spend tracking that and researching into that?
Yes, I do recommend it. And The tracking time, I would say, is the same exact answer. However much time you're really willing to do. If you have someone in your office that's great at it, and like an office assistant, have them do it. I mean, I make my assistant do a lot of this stuff for me too. Or my social media team, they can learn a lot and then relay that information to me. So if you have someone that you can kind of delegate some of it to, then great. I would probably spend, again, no more than 5 to 10 hours, but that's just me. Cause I do know some people, and my husband, he might spend a lot more time on something because he loves it. I spend a lot more time on things I really love. The Facebook pixel stuff does not get me excited. So I don't spend as much time there.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. We will go ahead and archive this and get it up there. So if anyone has any further questions or information or wants to reference this back, we can't thank you enough again for your time. And we hope this is helpful in getting everyone deep diving into their website and social to make their year great. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, no problem. Bye, guys.